Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode here on the journey of making an Internet of Things product that I've been working on. It's been a while since I posted, but I wanted to take just a minute to talk about why it's important to always read the contract. I'm going to preface all of this with I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, nor should you ever take, I was going to say legal advice from me. You shouldn't take any advice from me without thinking about it and reviewing it yourself. I want to talk about non disclosure agreements and one that I received recently in working with a couple of different vendors and trying to get some work done on our puck holders. Um, let me change the view here. So this is an example of a contract that was sent to me, an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And if you've never heard of an NDA before, it's essentially an agreement that says I have to give you a certain amount of information about my business for you to perform some task for me, whether that's writing software or firmware or developing hardware or anything that could relate to your business and product. And as the receiver of that information, you need to not disclose it to other parties or use it for your own personal gain. And so that's the theory behind a non disclosure agreement. Um, these are, I feel like, heavily abused by corporations. As somebody who's worked in corporate America, they want to try and say that they own anything and everything, and you're not allowed to talk about anything. And I think they're sometimes heavy handed, but I also think that they're a good idea if you're just starting out, especially if you're working with companies that are outside of your local area that, might be new to you. It's just a protective measure. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you're into or use non disclosure agreements or not. Stick it in the comments below. Would love to hear about it. But the point of today's episode is just to talk about why it's important to read the contract. So, as I'm just getting started through all of this, I don't have a team of lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. And so I also don't have a non disclosure agreement. And so when I reached out recently to get some work done, I asked if the company had a standard NDA that I could look at and review and perhaps sign. And as long as it feels okay to me, I'm going to move forward. Again, I don't recommend that. You should always have a lawyer review it. Can't afford that right now. So we're doing our best. So they did send over a contract, and as I've since learned, a very common section in these contracts is a governing law and jurisdiction section. And this essentially says, what do we do if there's a dispute? And so let me read this. It says, this agreement shall be governed, construed, and interpreted in accordance with the laws of the People's Republic of China, without giving effect to principles of conflicts of law. Each party hereby consents to the exclusive jurisdiction of the courts of the People's Republic of China. So this whole section right here. And that's not something that I'm going to sign at all for several reasons. First, as far as I'm aware, I'm not working with a Chinese firm. I know that's a very common place to outsource work. In this case, I'm not dealing with China at all. Again, as far as I'm aware, this is a company that I came into contact with here in the United States. I do know that they outsource some of their work to Europe, but as far as I'm aware, China is in no way involved in this transaction. It's kind of a weird, where did the People's Republic of China come from? And so I don't know if this is a typo on their part. Maybe they're just reusing copy paste contracts that they've got from other people. But so first of all, I'm not going to agree to that because China has nothing to do with our cooperation and agreement. And second, I don't consent to the exclusive jurisdiction of the courts of the People's Republic of China. How would that even work? Does that mean if there's a dispute, which I don't expect there to be, but you should always make sure you're covering your bases? Do I have to go to China to resolve this conflict? Like, that doesn't make any sense and is not something that I would do for this particular thing. Again, it's all about trade-offs. I mean, if this is a huge opportunity and a big collaboration and you need this company that's in China and that's the only way that they'll agree to it, like, weigh your decision. But in this case, again, I don't need this that bad, nor do I need the possibility that I would have to go to China to settle this. And again, I don't even know what Chinese courts would do with a dispute from two not Chinese companies about something. So anyway, just an example of make sure you read the contract. In this case, I feel like it may have been a mistake, maybe not. Like maybe I am dealing with a Chinese company and this is the indicator that I am. I'll ask them about it. But make sure you're reading the contract and you understand what you're agreeing to. Again, have a lawyer read it. That's my advice: is to always have a lawyer review it, because even if it sounds good to you, you might be missing something. But anyway, like I said, just a quick example, real life example of why you read the contract. I hope everybody is having an amazing week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time.